must be eager to learn more of the culinary arts.
Hooray! Hello, and first thank you, Kitchen Confidence, for the follow right before the stream started up. Yeah. Like, what am I doing today? I am making a well, it's a spooky dish, spaghetti carbonara, but I will say it is not too complicated if you prep ahead of time. The recipe does take a little bit of getting used to, and probably the scariest part is working with the raw eggs, but I've done this several times. It's good. Spooky. I think it's the raw eggs that people are afraid of, right? Like putting a recipe in and going like, oh, I'm not cooking these eggs. You are cooking them, but it's still, I think, there. We are going to be poaching an egg. That can be spooky for people. Perfect. It's October. This is a spooky raw eggs and everything. I've made this one a few times now. This is my dish for when Jeff goes elsewhere for the weekend. He's out this week for a bachelor's party. So I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to make? I'm going to make myself some carbonara. Because he does not eat pork. So now I'm like, I'm just going to eat pasta all weekend. Yeah. This is also actually, I think, a pretty quick-ish recipe. We're only doing the one. And before we even start cooking anything, we're going to make sure everything is chopped, prepped, separated, and all that fun stuff. But I'm sure for you, Lemon Drop, this is not a spooky recipe. I'm sure it's something that you've covered, maybe with your schooling so far, that you've been doing. I'm trying to think, did I grab everything that I wanted? I wish it was Halloween and spooky. I keep trying to think, because I'm like, next week's Halloween, I should do a spooky recipe. But I can't decide what I want to do. I was like, well, I have pumpkin cookies, but they're just like pumpkin flavored cookies. They're not spooky. So that's one of the things I've definitely been like, ooh. Sup, Opie? You do not cook your GFs. That's a bad idea. You got to treat your GFs nice. Real nice. Keep them healthy. Keep them happy. So, I will say after the stream yesterday, after the triple triad nonsense, Jeff and I looked around and we were like, there has to be someone else that we could play triple triad in Final Fantasy VIII. So the little kid that runs around, he's actually someone that you could compete against, and he'll throw cards. But his card pull is a lot weaker than the old man's. So we got some of his cards, and we were very proud of that. And then we went back and fought the old man. And we beat him. We're like, yeah, we beat him, and we're like, we're going to take this Chimera card. Perfect. Everything's great. Jeff's like, okay, done. Gonna save the game. Walks back to the save point, and it's like, perfect. And exits the game. So, the only thing we lost was the one game against the old man. The kid just wants to run. He wants to run every day and get his exercise on. Doing better than I am in that regard. Alright, so I have 2 cheeses here. I have some Parmesan and Romano. They are going to add that nice bite. Let's see, how much do I want of this? 30 grams of each. So I need to measure these, Kanji, with these. I was excited. It was a good work week. And I was like, Jeff's taking his like the weekend to do the bachelor things. I'm like, I'm taking Friday off because I earned it, and I'm gonna chill probably. And by chill, I mean definitely make my soup dumpling soup base. So, but I'm also getting my hair done again this weekend because the last time I got it done, I was kind of angry at the person. My hair's grown too quickly, and the color went away a lot quicker than it usually does. So I found another person. I'm kind of excited because the person's like description on the way, it's a different place that I'm going to. They mentioned that they play, and their free time, they play video games and watch anime, and I'm like, and they cosplay. So it's like, okay, this is perfect. I'm actually gonna like want to talk to my hair salon like the person doing my hair, because it's always like making that awkward like small talk. It's like, oh, so what do you do? Okay. Usually it'll turn into food. That's an easy like small talk thing, but it's a little much. All right. So in the house, I every other week, what I like to do is I have Overtone. It's a conditioner. Overtone. I use their conditioner to keep my color going. That's like the website of the stuff I use. Ooh, they have magenta now. I specifically use their pink, and it's the pastel one. This is just, it's kind of there, but I'm not happy with it. The bigger thing that I'm unhappy with is because I have shorter hair, and I'll tell people cut it short so I could go for about 8 weeks. Like I want to go at least 8 to 10 weeks without having to get another haircut. But sometimes they're a little spooked to like cut it shorter than I want, and I'll be like, no, cut it shorter. Right now, I feel like I have a mullet growing in the back because this part back here is like just growing longer than it usually needs to. And I'm like, ugh. If only these people weren't afraid. Basically, right now, I'm like, I'm trying to find my hair person. That's my whole thing. You used to be a hairstylist? A barber? I have not. I have not, actually. Well, I guess, what would you say is the difference between a barber and a salon? Oh, that's so cool. That's actually really neat. That's true. The worst part about this other place that I went to is I specifically said, hey, give me your person who is the most comfortable and the best at short haircuts. And then when they do that, and I show them a picture too. The other place I was going to was just a little expensive, and twice. They made my hair more neon than I wanted it to, and it required... The first time I was like, okay, I guess this is my hair, but the second time, it was before a wedding, and I was like, you all need to redo this. And it was just like a pain. So right now I'm in the process of just like talking things. This person, she has been at least this salon for I think like 7 years. It's funny because they were like, oh, message her on Instagram and tell her like what color hair you have, what kind of pink you're looking for, and what kind of like pixie cut you'd want to do. I said, okay, perfect. I messaged her. I said, my profile picture is like the pink that I usually aim for, and here's a picture of that. And well, first, of course, she's like, oh my God, your Instagram's so funny. You have a corgi and you do video game food. This is great. And she's like, oh, maybe we could talk about like a pop of color. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to add more colors, but we'll see. I'm going to come back with like a rainbow hair color next week on stream. See, I'm doing that Saturday afternoon. A license. Okay, so I didn't. A license to shave. Interesting. All right, that's zeroed out. I want about 30 grams. If we go over, that's fine. We've gone over. That's fine. Make it a little extra cheesy. Kanji, you've been said hello to. I was like, hello, Josh. Okay, so we got our Parmesan. And now I'm going to get my Romano. Carefully get my Romano without, like, stabbing myself. Boop. Harry, are you still in Austin? Like, aren't you supposed to be in Vegas? Okay. Harry, thank you so much for stopping by while your flight is late. I wasn't expecting anyone that was there. Okay. Okay, let me drop. I will, if this next person ends up being a mistake, I will specifically go look for a barber then. And see if that would help. I did have a good hairstylist, but she stopped because she had a kid, and then life goes on. And she was the one who actually cut my hair short originally. She did it perfectly. Then I had to find a new person, and this has been the struggle. What time's your flight at? Harry. Okay. This one, the Romano, we got a little more exactly where it needed to be. One thing I didn't mention, my water is sitting there doing its thing, kind of heating up. A lot of this happens pretty quick once it's all set up. So, just letting that do its thing. 9:55. Oof, that is a late flight. With the shorter hair, there is that upkeep, right? I find myself every week or so, I'm having to like clean up this area, and then I'll ask Jeff, clean up back here, so it's like, and they're usually not afraid, and they cut that right. That has to get cleaned up. This time around, I've been like, Jeff, don't bother. So like, ugh. Now, was this before you were going to like beauty school or after? I think that's why I get spooked by going like, well, time to cut it. I don't mind like clipping the bangs and stuff because it's already, I say bangs, but it's always really short. Because it ends up going up like this, so it doesn't matter. Oh, that is very brave of you. I can't even read my own instructions. I grabbed 4 eggs when I clearly need at least 5. Good thing I accidentally bought a lot of eggs. I have a lot of them. There's another dozen in there because I thought I was going to be making something else. And then I changed my mind. I think you should... Let me make sure. Hold on. Let me drop before we start posting. 'Cause sometimes... I think you should be... Alright. Brandon. What's up, Brandon? How your Astros doing? That's very rude of me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Brandon. Don't cut my hands off. Actually, you are right. He is sitting like a model right now. Just kind of like leaning off the bed slightly, kind of minding his We said something. So now all we get is the rump. Well, and then I guess a little bit of ears. Oh boy. It's happening because you didn't play Minecraft with us. You were too busy watching their game. Alright. So some minor notes about carbonara. Traditionally, it is done with a meat called guanciale, I think is the correct name, which is the cheek. I've never seen it at my local grocery store, and I think if I'm not able to find it easily, this was one of those where I was like, I'd have to go across town for this. A good substitute is pancetta. It is another pork product. Kind of serves the same purpose, but if you want to be guanciale, I think, yeah. I am cooking. A menu button should work. Let's see. Yeah, pixelated bot, you're doing your thing. No, Brandon, so your wheat was gone when we logged in. So someone took it before all that. Yep, actually, let me clean this off real. Should have been there to protect your burgers. Hamburger got it. Actually, my knife is not happy. I should have sharpened it before the start of the stream. Ricky, please. Yeah, the moment you find yourself, like, struggling to cut something, sharpen your knife. There's some crazy stuff happening in our, like, Minecraft server, actually. Some of the projects that people are putting together. Crazy. I have my crazy map thing that I've been doing. Which I was happy that that zoomed in map was able to... That's a lot better. To like, capture everything. So, I have not, Harry. Yeah, I guess that's the end of the story. I'm like, I really haven't. It probably would be a lot nicer. And make me look fancier. But I think in terms of like the things I want to upgrade in the kitchen, that's probably low on the list. I think my highest priority right now is probably upgrading my KitchenAid mixer. I'm just waiting for Black Friday at this point. and get a professional grade one. I think they were on sale like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, not sure still. Let's see. Ooh, that's impressive that you did that all by yourself with the 2 mirrors and whatnot. I am impressed. I have, since I've had my hair short like this, I think it's 3 years, 2 years, 2 or 3 years, I am like not going back. Love the minimal work that it takes. So nice. With my long, like I used to have longer hair. I say longer, it was like shoulder length. It kind of kept getting shorter and shorter. I would, if it ever got too long, if it got long enough to put into a ponytail, it ended up in a ponytail. So I was like, okay, let's try something. And then, of course, my sister she has much longer hair. She's like, why'd you cut your hair? Why'd you do that? Yeah, it did. It took me a while to finally be like, this is what I want. This is what I need in my life. And then especially the dyeing took a long time. I think one of my biggest fears was like with work. Like, okay, I'm going to do this. And, okay, bye, Kanji. Bye, Kanji. I was worried with work, 'cause working at NASA, and I think it was, I asked my company itself, oh, is it okay? And people were like, well, there's nothing in the guidelines, you should be fine. They're like, well, one person was like, well, you should try like a small part of your hair before you do like a full color. Like, what do you think? And I'm like, no, I just want pink. I want entirely pink hair. That's just what I want. And they're like, well, you really should just try a piece. Don't do the whole thing right away. I'm like, okay. And then it was when I saw, I think at NASA, I saw someone with like darker blue hair. I was like, okay, that's it. It's fine. I'm doing it. Oh, hi, Kanji. Are you smelling all the foods? Probably should have chopped the garlic first. Eh. You have darker hair, right, Opie? I think one of the harder parts definitely of dyeing your hair, like the fantasy colors, or I forget what the term is with darker hair you are going to have to, if you're going to... Yeah, so it would probably take a few bleaches to get it. I guess it depends how vibrant you want the purple. I know I keep thinking of doing green, a green or a teal next. But the thing I've liked about the pink is it holds pretty well. And I've heard from people like sometimes the blues just don't last as long. Then I also get a lot of people go, green? Really? Why would you do green? I'm like, I love green. It's a good color. I think actually that website I linked, the overtone stuff, I think they have some stuff that you could put over. They actually like describe it. If you put it over this color hair, this is kind of what it's going to look like. I find their products to be pretty good. It does a good job of dyeing and holding for a bit longer. Hair. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, the blue faded pretty quick with yours. Yeah. It just seems to be a color that doesn't hold as well. But I've had a lot of people. Well, I will admit with like how it currently is, I think I dyed it. I did my conditioning dye 3 weeks ago. And then on top of that, I have like a little extra conditioner that has like color in it. And it does fine, but it's not as strong as it usually will be. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. You're definitely gonna get those funky colors, but that's interesting to know that because pink's so close to red that it's a better dye option. And how it interacts with hair. Interesting. And Harry, you said that took several bleachings, right? Okay, that's not horrendous. I also don't know the other place I went to when they were doing like the bleach stuff. I don't think their bleach was as good as I don't know. You know what? That salon is not going to be visited again. Yeah, you did that while you were in... Was it Portland at that point? It's like, I don't think it was LA. I think it was when you were in Portland. Yeah. Okay. Alright. I've slowly cut it into little pieces. I'm going to rinse this real quick and then I'm going to... So, the recipe calls for 5 garlic cloves. I've grabbed a handful of garlic. So, that's what I'm feeling like tonight. I was like, you know what? I want some garlic. This is what I need in my life. So let me rinse this real quick. Like I said, I should have done it the other way around. Excited because there's a few recipes that I'm testing this weekend. I think I'm testing. Oops. Not 100% sure. But I guess it depends how I wake up tomorrow and how I feel. Because everyone at our office at work, like I was in a meeting today and everyone was like coughing and hacking their lungs. And I'm like, no, please, not this weekend. I want to chill this weekend. I don't want to be sick. So, things I'm testing. I want to try making Hokkaido milk bread because I'm taking a look. At the curry toast that's in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I have to prep that recipe for the week it comes out, I figure. And I was looking at like my options of the curries to do, and I was like, well, which one should I do next? And I was like, I really want to make some milk bread. That seems like a good excuse for it. So it'll probably have like the same base as my basic one, but with the extra effort put into making your own toast. Hey Maria, I am doing amazing. Can someone please give a shout out? It's one of the mods I think only can. I think it's !SO to Two Girls One Game. She is a fellow member of the Bone In team, and she does a lot of neat cooking streams. Thank you, Brandon. Okay, so I see Opie's question asking how much can a dye can dyeing be? It depends on the salon. You're definitely looking at least... I want to say it could go anywhere from like... Yeah. It depends, too, on the salon. Because I know for me, with the first place I went to, I want to say, because of the level of the salon person, with the haircut, with everything, was $175 in total. And then this other place ended up being $165. And I think this new place is even cheaper. It's expensive. It ain't cheap. Which is why I was very upset about this place, because I am getting my hair redone earlier than I usually do. Because I'm like, I don't want... So that, yeah, that's with the haircut too. I'm like, I don't want to do this that often. I want to get away with at least like 2.5 months. Maybe 3 if I could get away. It's more the length of the hair that drives me nuts. Yeah? When you want to be anime, it costs money. Why is anime so expensive? Let me see if I missed anything. Maria, you know what? I noticed that. Okay, so actually this past weekend I had brunch with Maria, and because she's also in Houston too, so we had lunch, and then as we were getting in our car, I was like, oh my God, we didn't take a picture. I'm like, I'm bad at social media stuff or doing anything. But that's why we'll just have to have brunch again, or eat more food, or other things. just an excuse to see each other again. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Are you not interested in the camera today, Kanji? You don't want anything to do with it? You're just gonna sit there grumpy? Why are you so grumpy? Kanji's extra grumpy today. I know why that is, because Jeff left and Kanji's like, but why? I'm just stuck with Mama. Actually, he did have a rough day, because that meeting I was talking about, there was food. And usually at those meetings, I'm like, okay, Kanji, I have to leash you just in case someone drops any food you don't want to get any. And of course, it was like pizza, and they had like these little containers of Parmesan, and someone dropped one all over the floor, and Kanji was like, I gotta get there. I gotta get there. Let me get there. I need to get that Parmesan. Please let me eat that cheese. Just come on, please. And it became such a hassle. I'm like, Kanji, I have to put you in the room, in the office. Nope, we're not doing this. That's it. I actually have not watched or read any Demon Slayer. I could quickly, I could do this. I'd hit this and hit the Googles. Ooh, with like just the tips done like that. That actually is pretty neat. I think that's one of the more... that's one of the downfalls of having the short hair. I think if you have longer hair, you could get away with, oh, you've dyed your hair, and now your hair is growing out, and it's okay to have like your base hair color. My hair's short, so it has to get cut often, so it's like... they'll cut it, and then it'll be like mostly my regular hair color. It's just like, there's no winning. One of my coworkers said there was a name for that. Something she used to do. Because this coworker, her sister actually owns a salon. But back in the day, before all that, I think this was the 90s, so they would put a bunch of bleach on either tinfoil or like towels and stuff, and all you would do is do like a a quick like rub like this, and that would get the tips, so you get that 90s look of the like the Guy Fieri look. The bleached at the top and your normal hair color at the bottom. So she's just like, yeah, just do that. Frosted tips, thank you, Harry. Frosted tips, get her done. I know, like, there's always the option to be like, well, I could just buy my own stuff and it'll be way cheaper to do. I don't want to deal with with bleach at home. Brandon, did you have a rat tail? Brandon might be too young for rat tails. Oh my god, wait, Brandon, you did? That's amazing. Yes, yeah, that's... Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I would screw that up, and then I'd mess my hair up. And my hair's been fine through all this process. It's still nice and soft. It's still just as like thick as it used to be. I think it was my biggest fear was like my hair was gonna be like, nah, I hate you. We're done here. I will say there was this lady that we did like contract work with at one point at our office, and she came by and I was like, oh, I'm thinking of coloring my hair pink. This is before I got it done. She's like, well, I don't know if you want to bleach it, because her hair is like white. I guess because of how often she was bleaching her hair, the hair just lost its color pigment completely. So as she's a much older person, but it's just white. It's not like gray. Her hair is white. And I'm like, man, I wish my hair was white. Just color it whatever color I want. Be free. Alright. We got chippy chopped garlic. Ooh. God, I just decided to go back. Alright. Got our pancetta. We got our garlic. We have our cheese. Yeah. If you have white hair, you're anime every day. You could change your hair colors every day. I'm sure that's something that, like, with your schooling will be covered. This is definitely a recipe that I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat. I've never done it at home. I think I have. I rarely had it out. And I was like, okay, let me just... I tried it somewhere. I was like, oh, this tastes pretty good. This shouldn't be too bad. Not too bad to do. So I will grab... Yeah. I need to get a bowl. Get the clear bowl. Actually, let me remove this. Ooh, something I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to go to Home Goods and hopefully I'll get lucky at my Home Goods and there will be a wood or some wood adjacent cutting board. Because I feel like that's going to do me so much better for like the lighting in this room. Because the white cutting boards are A, old, and they explode the light in here. I want to grab a bowl. Not that big. I'll have egg whites tomorrow. So, with this recipe, we are doing 4 egg yolks, 1 whole egg, and then a poached egg. So, Yeah, that's the part I'm like, See, this weekend I'm literally doing a bunch of things. I'm looking for like good cutting board that might help with this. I'm going to Home Depot because I started looking at like the cheaper light options. Because I actually looked at the thing you DM'd me with your like lighting setup, Lemon Drop, and I was like, oh, I probably should do that. So I'm gonna be looking into cheap lighting because there's no money. There's no money. We just do this for fun. My hair's eating all the money. So I'm hoping to find something cheap there. Because I was lucky. My dad had a good amount of photography stuff, and when he came down here, the last time he dropped off a few lights. I've started using that in the gaming streams. Because I noticed when Jeff and I were streaming together, it was really dark. So it's like, oh, let me set it up, and let me fix it, and let me make sure this works. And the lighting in that room is a lot better. I think I need a second one in there, so I think if I get a nice cheap option, that'll help. So I'm just taking my yolks with my fingers and being like, please go away from the egg whites. So it does well here. It does well. No, I don't need to throw that out. At this time of day. The big issue is when the sun is up. I can't do streams earlier than this because of the skylight above me. Light comes down through here, but all of this, because it's all darker, gets like washed out. Yeah, just go. Hey, I wouldn't have to move my PC then. Brandon, you're thinking. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's the other. Having to carry the PC back and forth is just like, oh. One, two, three. See, I didn't do the whole egg right away because I was worried. Sometimes the yolks are a little finicky and they'll bust. But usually they're pretty nice. Boop. Let me make sure. Actually. Combine the egg yolks, the whole egg. That's what I wanted to make sure that the whole egg wasn't like sneaky. I've gotten, when I was doing previous recipe writing, I did a bad job of like putting the ingredients in the order that they show up in the recipe and making sure that it all lines up correctly so the person doesn't get confused. So a tip I saw for lights specifically, and I'm trying to figure out how to, that situation, it's nice, but for normal purposes, like for streaming purposes, it's not nice. But I saw a few suggestions saying a shower curtain can be really good for diffusing light. Especially when you buy the cheaper lights, just putting that on top of it all, it works pretty well. And it's like, that's like a $3 purchase. So there's going to be some lighting experimenting happening this weekend. Got it. Half of the cheeses, a bunch of pepper. Alright. My water is doing its thing. I'm gonna back here heavily salted. Salt it more than you expect. This is one of those recipes that you should do this all the time. You should save the pasta water after the pasta's done cooking. You're gonna need it. You need it for this recipe. It is necessary. No option. Mandatory. Oops, I did a bad job. I just put my Final Fantasy playlist, not the Final Fantasy XIV. I don't think I have a Final Fantasy XIV on my playlist. Well, this is 15. I think a few 15 songs have popped up. A tablespoon, just kind of roughly. Roughly. Actually, we're going to turn on... Boop. I think this camera has moved a little bit. This camera here, this just sits here all week. It doesn't do any, it doesn't move. It just, that's where it lives. So I probably bumped it a few times. Also, hello, senpai. How are you this evening? So I'm going to start heating this up. At this point, we're starting to be at go time. Boop, 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 boop. So we're whisking together the eggs, the 4 egg yolks, 1 whole egg, we're adding about half of this mixture. I'm going to make sure we mix the cheeses because they're just one on top of the other. There. We've done good. We've set everything up. Everything's all happy and set up. And doing its thing. Plain. So yeah, the soup dumplings I'm making this weekend, that's a... It is going to be a Final Fantasy XV recipe. I know I did a poll a little bit back asking, and people said there was the one that wasn't an option. The one that won was the garden curry. I actually tried making that 2 weeks ago, and I was not happy. Look, it was edible. It was a recipe. I was not happy with the result. And I was like, nope, this ain't working. This does not look like it's supposed to. So of course, no, we're going to go more complicated and make soup dumplings. Because why not? Works perfectly because the game has it, and I'm like, oh, perfect. Excuse. An excuse to make it. Let me make sure. How much pasta water do I want? We're going to pass through the strainer. Make sure to scoop up some. About 2 cups. Our pasta will be cooked pretty early on. And then sitting there, it'll get all involved in everything else afterwards. So we're letting this heat up because we're going to add our pancetta in. And we're going to want our pancetta to get real crispy. Real nice and crispy. That looks very crispy in the pictures. That should work out nicely. See, there's pink and green just in my kitchen. I was like, well, if she wants to do like a pop of color of some form, I think green would be one I could agree with, but I'm like also like, I don't know, man. That's another color than me having to deal with it. Ooh, more work? I don't want work. What else was I thinking of goofing around with this weekend? I do think the soup dumplings are probably going to take a lot of time. Because I want to make everything from scratch. Everything. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Like, where did I put the chives? I'm just gonna cut these while I'm waiting for that to cook. The chives are a garnish that just looks nice and goes on top of it. They're wonderful and tasty. Ooh, I forgot to tell that. Jeff and I were supposed to tell this story yesterday. So while we were going into work, minding our own business, you know, doing our usual path, walking down the hall, like, okay, we're gonna go take the stairwell, like we do, to go up 3 flights of stairs. Perfect. And as we're walking, because it's weird, it's like there's like a hallway, and then like this side area that has another hallway before you could hit the stairwell. As we're starting to open the door to the stairwell in between, so in the second lobby, this hallway place, something starts flying towards us. And I'm like, it was a bat that had clearly gotten stuck that night in that room, and we felt terrible for it. So like, myself and Kanji was with us. He didn't notice the bat, and Jeff and I are like, now we're in the hall, like we're in the stairwell, and the bat's still in the other like section. We're like, well, we have to get it out because it's gonna be in that, and then it's gonna panic someone, scare someone. It's been panicked because it's been in that area with lights on and just like freaking out probably all night. So I'm waiting, just like, okay, I'll go try and get it. So because the hallway has the stairwell. It's kind of like an L shape with something in between. So that's where we got in. But the stairwell's down here, and it was flying back and forth here. This is a door to outside. So we're like, okay, we have to get this out. So Jeff tried, and at one point he found the bat was so scared because it was near the door, but like on the ground, kind of curled up, scared. And Jeff had the door open, trying to convince it to go outside, and he started moving his foot towards it to move it, and then it was like, nah, it just kept flying back and forth. I was like, oh man, Jeff's taking a while. So I go run up to the office, take Kanji into our office, put him there, and I go and grab I tell someone else, they're like, here, take this bag, don't touch the bat. I'm like, I'm not going to touch it. And I take like a big box cover for like paper sheets, and I was like, okay, I have my weaponry of choice to be able to deal with this and get rid of them. So I get down, and Jeff's like, oh, it's still flying back and forth. Okay, and I'm like, I have the box, and it's just kind of like, he's like, it just won't go out the door. I think I got spooked at the box enough that it eventually scooted out. So we helped the little bat, and he went outside. And hopefully he found his dark spot. That poor little buddy. 'Cause bats are great. They eat mosquitoes. I love them. All right, my water back here. I did a bunch of dishes earlier, but I didn't wash either of the tongs. Let me wash this real quick. Whoop. of course, because it was early in the morning, it was still early enough that a lot of people were getting into the office at that point. So there were a few people that walked by and were like, "Oh my God, what was that?" And it was like, "Oh, there's a bat in there." What? I thought it was a bird. Actually, I thought it was a bird at first too, because that would make like more sense, but it was fine. Hey, Vela. Yeah, we got some massive sizzling happening. Ooh, actually, I should make that the bigger screen. I'm not important anymore. That's the important part. The part that matters. Turn that down because this is starting to smoke a little more than I want it to. It got me. Popped right on my neck. Ow. And so in this like back pot, this one right here, you kind of see my hand. I'm gonna throw in my spaghetti. If I could open this. We don't want to cook this all the way because it is going to kind of get cooked in one of the phases when we throw it into that pot a little more when we're making our sauce. So we're looking for a good al dente. Al dente. Nice little bite to it. So that is an important thing to always keep in mind. Do not cook your pasta in your sauce. It'll absorb the flavor a little more. You know what? As a kid, that was one of my favorite things to do. I was like, yes, it's spaghetti night. Ah, yes, we got bread. Spaghetti sandwiches. Carbs on carbs on carbs. And now I make food on a food blog, y'all. Clearly that's the recipe I need to be writing. Spaghetti sandwiches. Carbs on carbs. Carbs make me happy. If it makes me happy, then we're doing good. I mean, if I was gonna be like watching my figure, I would not be eating dessert all the time. So I have a few friends who will jump in and do a bunch of those diets that like cut things out. And I'm like, I can't. I love this stuff too much. I will be sad. I might have put too much oil in. Might have to grab some of that out. Feels like a little more than I want. So I'm gonna just take a paper towel. Kind of just absorb a little bit of it. We still want some in there. There's a lot more than I want. And it's hot oil. So that's something to keep in mind. One of the steps that we are going to be doing in the near future is adding some of the pasta water into this. So we don't want it to be, want oil in there, but not like as much as there was. There was a little too much. Yeah, it's all about moderation. Having a little bit of everything. And enjoying yourself. Okay, see, we're getting nice and crispy in a lot of spots here. Forgot to, like, adjust that camera. Like, it's kind of a little blown out, but that's fine. Hey, Ah, baguettes, you're so good. So delicious. Make sure I do this right. Try to add the garlic and cook for 2 minutes, and then we're adding the pasta water. I'll let that crisp up a little more. I want to make sure that our pasta is making its progress. It's like this one piece right here that's like, nah, I ain't gonna crisp up. I'm too good to crisp up. Please, please crisp up. Yeah. I'm gonna be taken out by food in some way. That's the way I'm going. I spend too much time with food, so that's just the way it's gonna be. Okay, it's behaving itself. Make sure. Hopefully only by being like overly loved by a dog. Kanji's a funny dog because he only wants love on his terms, so he'll never kill me by overly loving. Harry, thank you for stopping by. Have a safe flight. Have fun in Vegas. Be safe. Hi, Onich-chan. How are you? No, Kanji is extremely selfish. He will only love on his terms. I mean, he just lays there. I'll be like, oh, come on, Kanji. Pick him up and walk him up. I'm not just excited because I'm saying his name a bunch. Walk him over to the couch and pet him a bunch. And then he's like, okay, I'm done. I'm walking away. Like, Kanji, just love me, please. Sure, pasta's very close to done. This is good too. Yeah, our pasta's good. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna get 2 cups. Two cups and change. Let's be a little cautious here. The main reason you don't want to use like other like normal water or hot water is that water right now is seasoned. It has salt. It has a little bit of the starch from the pasta. It's gonna help thicken things. So I'm gonna go ahead. You know what would be a good idea too, Vicky? Put your colander there so you could actually strain your pasta. Actually, let me add that. Let's do several things at once. Add the garlic. We're gonna let that go a little bit. I'm gonna pour this out. For a moment, I thought it like flipped funny, and I was like, well, that's that. There goes my pasta. Okay. Oh my gosh. Biscuits are so good. They are delicious. Oh, yes. That side is so good for vegetarian stuff. Oh, I'm so happy that it came out good. Hell yeah, Onish-chan. Oh, yes. I'm jealous because Jeff today was like, oh, the only plan I think for today was we're going to go have Korean barbecue. And I'm like, Oh, I'm just making myself some carbonara. That's not as exciting as Korean barbecue. That is hot. Wow. 2 minutes. Add 1 cup of pasta water and bring it to a boil. So now we're going to do this carefully because there is oil in here. Water and oil do react to each other decently. So but because I reduced how much oil there was in there, and I think at this point a lot of it is probably the fat from the pancetta that's just gone down. So we want this to go back to a boil. Ooh, lime juice. Yeah, what were the main ingredients in the chili? I'm curious. And I'm curious about the changes you made. It's doing its thing. Block the bright light, Biggie. Stop trying to compensate. Please. So we're bringing that to a boil. And then we want the water to reduce a bit. Why, thank you, Vela. My goal in life is just to make people happy. And laughter does that. I think like smiling and all that has always been like an important thing. I know people say you shouldn't smile with your mouth because it adds wrinkles. I'm like, I don't care. I smile. I love it. I'm always yes. Oh no. No, I was asking you something on his channel. Alright. So I was wondering what were the main ingredients in the recipe and what big changes did you make? So we're waiting. So this is boiling right now and we want it to reduce a bit. So the big process with this is our eggs are going to be cooked by the heat of the water because we are going to like move it off the stove eventually and just kind of whisk it all in and magic happens. Opa, I know that's something that can be difficult for people for sure. With like teeth in general. But you're fine. Just give a good smile. Whatever you're comfortable with. And I think the important thing with smiling is do what you're comfortable with. Don't do things that make you feel self-conscious. There, nice easy change. Anishan, good job for like taking that step and taking that initiative to be like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make this recipe. I can't get everything. Time to make it my own. Like I always say, recipes are suggestions. Customize it however you want. Yeah, if someone is making you feel that way, maybe reevaluate. But I know there's a lot of pressure. There is pressure of your own mind. Brain does things to myself. Like I'll look at my VOD sometimes. I'm like, oh no. So I know my teeth here are a little like there's a little bit of a gap, and then I'm like, oh God, why am I doing this? Look at that. That looks so bad. I'm like, no, please, just Make it you're good. You're proud and you're looking good. See, that's I'm that makes it rough, and that's not nice of your parents. Yeah, not knowing myself. Okay, I know myself. I like to eat, and I'll do I walk kanji. Obviously, I could be doing more exercise in my life, but there's no like. I'm gonna keep doing this. This is the life I live. And I'm like, whatever. People think I'm fat. Whatever. Yeah, sometimes you can exercise a lot and reduce how much you're eating and still not. Yeah, no. Weight is hard. Oh no. No, see, I'm the opposite. My Sicilian grandmother just is disappointed if you do not eat the entire plate of pasta that she's going to put on your dish. No, she's not going to say you're fat or anything, but she will. She called the first time she met Jeff. She's like, she looked at me and she's like, oh, in Spanish, he's so thin. Do you feed him? And I'm like, yes, I feed him. Why is he so thin? And then proceeds to put a large bowl of pasta in front of him. And then just like, I had to eat all this. He's like, I want to, because this is their first time meeting. And he's just eating. And she's sitting there smiling. Because they can't talk. Jeff can't speak any Spanish. So for him, it was like, So there was just smiling and looking back and forth. And then her occasionally saying things in Spanish to him and then being like, I don't know. Yeah, BMI is bullshit. What are you doing? Yeah, that definitely makes it rough. Alright, so we have... I think we're good here. Do I have to... No, add the pasta and stir together rigorously is the words I used. I'm gonna be so angry as I stir this pasta in. Get in there, pasta. So we did it al dente. So there's still a bit of bite to it. Actually, a good chunk of bite. So we want to make sure to coat it in this. Kanji, please. Oh my gosh. Just making a mess. So right now I'm going to make sure that all of my pasta is getting coated correctly and coated in this like sauce, this base sauce. So we're not carbonaraed completely yet. Turn the heat off on that right now. I don't know. Maybe one's more angry. Maybe I've used the it's possible I used the wrong word. Alright, so like, I'm not moving it that far, but that's pretty hot. So I'm taking it off the heat. Moving this here. Move from the heat and continue to stir. because we're going to just introduce the eggs in here. Now, you're like, oh, but it's not going to come to temperature. I've done this a few times, and I've not had an issue with it, like scrambling the eggs funny. You just want to make sure that you keep stirring during this process, and we're going to, like, just slowly add this in. Because if you let it sit for too long before the eggs come to temperature, they will scramble. Like, that will happen. Yeah, no, we're just, okay, I guess at the point, yeah, we're just going all in right away. So we're just going to introduce it, and we're going to keep kind of stirring our eggs. Now, the pasta and all that is hot, and there's still the heat of the pan here that that is going to help our pasta heat up, or the eggs heat up. Our pasta's already heated up. So what we're looking for is for it to become this nice, like, creamy consistency. Where is my... Which I'll move it back over there. I just don't want to... Not with that, actually. Change my mind. Back to this. It's just that the stove there is still hot, and I don't want to put more heat on this than is needed. So we're going to go ahead and keep mixing this. In a temp. Oni-chan, thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful evening, and I hope you get everything done that you need to get done tonight. Hope it's not too stressful of an evening for you. Alright, so it has thickened up. Read this, stir in the remaining cheese. Oop. Or just keep making a mess. That's cool too, so because we are mixing this, at this point it is a little on the dry side, but that's why we have our water. I'm gonna move this here quickly. So you kind of see, like, it's kind of like a little creamy in consistency. It is dry still. That's what our water's for. So I'm going to go ahead, add cheese. Pop. Should have been boiling water in a little pan for the poached eggs before I did all this. And the poached eggs will be fast. It's because we're so thick here. If the sauce appears to be too thick, add extra pasta water. You want it to be nice and creamy. Oh, I guess vigorous would have been nicer to use. I'm catching up slowly. Actually, Repeat, who's in here, is similar with, like, the fascination of words, and English is a weird language in general. I think that's a good example. Wood charcoal used to cook. Okay, adding a little more water because we're getting to that creamy consistency that I want it to be. But I think, yeah, there we go. Playlist, why? You are on a Final Fantasy XIV kick today. Ooh, I am going to have to add, because we're playing Final Fantasy VIII, probably Final Fantasy VIII music to that playlist eventually. Yeah, quite, yeah. Ugh, English! Also different, like, meanings of different words. Just be cool. Be consistent, please. That's not English. It ain't gonna be consistent. I think add a little bit more. So yeah, we're not needing, we want to taste it. We're not going to probably have to add additional salt because the water had salt in it. So that has us covered in that. Right. Oh, we're back. I don't know if it's going to show up, but this is pretty... I mean... Whoop, you know. Now I'm going to set that there. That's done. Now... Did I clean that pan? Yes. I only need 1 poached egg. Actually, I'm going to grab my saucepan instead. Because I can make it a little deeper that way. More water in there. So this is going to be my method that I use pretty consistently for poaching eggs. I don't do whirl swirls or anything. Alright, let me see. Yeah, it's... No, I don't want to make a hollandaise. Pretty sure I have to add vinegar. Like, where's my vinegar? Eeh. Alright, let's see. No, I do. I was like, I think I just have rice vinegar, but I don't know. Actually, I have just regular vinegar. I guess I bought it. What did I use? It's like there was a recipe I did recently that needed it. Now I don't know. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, no, I have... Oh, wait, where'd it go? I have a lot of them, too. There's like vinegars everywhere. Apple cider, regular vinegar, 2 different kinds of rice vinegar. Actually, no, 3 now. Oh my gosh. I am happy. Jeff and I are very... We are so very, very close to finishing Shadowbringers. But then he had to go on his trip. Like, I think it was Monday night. We were playing, and I was like, okay, Jeff, we gotta finish it. We're gonna do it. And I'm gonna make sure not to do any spoilers. We got to the point where we're in the last zone that gets revealed. I was like, ah, no, they want us to do more bitch work. I'm like, we're not finishing tonight, Jeff. We had a few friends that were just like, yeah, you're gonna be up till like 1 in the morning trying to finish this. And it's like, ugh. So he gets back Sunday. So I'm hoping we'll be done before 5.1 drops this week. Fingers crossed. He went to Las Vegas. Oof. Actually, let me see. I have a rice. I think the only one I don't have is a malt. Well, no, I don't. I did at one point. I don't think I currently do. None of the recipes I've had to do recently needed that. Oh, malt vinegar. I want fish and chips. Haven't made fish and chips in a long time. Then I have to fry. I had to do a bunch of frying this summer. I don't want to do any frying. Let me rinse this because this kind of has raw egg on it. I'm excited to mess up a poached egg on stream because that's going to happen. That's when I would mess it up. Live on stream. Oh, Pi, thank you for sticking around. We're almost done, but yeah, go get your exercise on. Okay. Not bad. Not bad on time. So I'm trying to bring my water up. To a boil. And I put a little bit of salt in there. I'm gonna grab a... Actually, what are my bowl options in there? Oh my gosh. Actually, last weekend, I went to IKEA in hopes of finding storage options because with the blog and everything, I have a lot of plates. I have like an extra cabinet that's just filled with plates for food photography. But I'm also starting to get a lot of equipment, so my kitchen's kind of full. So it's like, oh, it'd be nice. Not in this room. There's no room in here. It would be... So our master bedroom's huge and half of it's not used. So we're thinking, oh, let's get some like shelving and we can move some things there. Went to IKEA and nothing spoke to me. So to figure out what I want. I'm like, it'll be like for some pots and pans, but also for, oh my God, please. Also for like general plates that I will have. All my one-off, two-off plates. Because all my plates now I get sets of 2. Okay, we're almost there with that. Try and make our presentation lovely. Four and a half minutes. Ah. So that's where it needs to be. I might have grabbed... So usually when you do a poached egg, you do want to do newer... we'll see how well this poaches. A newer egg. These eggs are on the... Yeah, you're going to get all wispy on me. Yeah, these might be a little wispier than I want them, but it'll figure itself out. Hopefully. So we got our bowl. Oh my God, that's like the sun right now. Please, camera, please. You want to like not? I can't edit this camera. So one of the weird things with Logitech is they're both the same camera. I can't edit this one. And I forgot to do that this earlier. So I can't tone things down. So that is tasty. That's good. Honestly, you could eat it just like this. The poached egg's a little extra. But I love the like the yolky goodness that comes out of that. So that's always nice. Heck yeah. So, the only... I'm trying to think. I have to think of spooky dishes to make next week. Oh my gosh, I have like half the food here. So I do know that for next week, the cooking stream is probably going to be on Monday instead of Thursday. Just because we do have kids that come around here, and the last thing I want to deal with is a bunch of kids coming back and forth. So my stream schedule is going to shuffle a little bit because of that. Could make candy. It makes you sick. Kanji will not be going trick-or-treating. He will be sitting. So the way we've learned to do it is with him, we'll go sit outside front of the house with like a thing of candy. Because otherwise he'll be barking the entire night as the kids keep coming back and forth to the door. So it's just easier on him, easier on everyone else to just do that. We don't dress him up because, one, it's hot here and he doesn't like it. So we'll probably give him a little bandana to wear. He'll probably wear it during the stream next week. A little Halloween bandana. We put some chives on there. And put some more paper in there. Oh, maybe I can make 2 sets of pumpkin cookies next week. One for us and one for Kanji. And everyone gets to have Halloween treats. That might be a good idea. This feels like it's going longer than it needs to. Kind of. Looks a little sad. That is like the saddest poached egg I've ever made. Told you he was going to have it on stream. So it was going to be a bad one. So sad. Also, I think the egg is on the older side. Because it's spread out. The sun. Stop making it so bright. Oh well. We ain't going for perfect. We're going for delicious. Volsey, okay, so you said egg yolks. Do eggs in general, like, can you eat egg whites? And would you notice them if they're in cookies? If like a whole egg is put in a cookie? Just turn that off. It is the saddest poached egg. Whoop. Okay. Oh my god, camera, you're useless today. You don't like the bright colors. Huh, please. Huh? Interesting that it triggers you like that. Alright. Tip it carefully. Actually, I'm borrowing your camera, Kanji. That is like awkwardly. I don't think I have a big for the Kanji. See, sad poached egg. We're gonna just ignore that. But the carbonara, we'll also move it here. This camera just doesn't do color justice. But you can see that like it's creamy in that consistency, and that's from mixing in the eggs and then adding that water and then the interaction that it has there. So Volsey, this is probably not a recipe that your stomach would agree with you with, because this is mostly egg yolks. Whoop. Okay. Now, my favorite part. I'm gonna add more chives. Yeah, it's still. Yes. Take take a picture, Vicky, so then you could... I'm like, where's my phone? That's right, I was getting a phone call at one point. Which I need to call him back later. My poor phone is like slowly dying. Like it'll do that. Where I'll take pictures on it and then it's like, no, I'm good. I'm done. I have a Pixel 1. It is 3 years old. And it was always in a state of like, I'm slowly gonna die. Actually, it's gotten bad recently. I think since it upgraded the Android. To Android 10, I think is what it is now. It just doesn't survive. I probably need to replace it, but I'm gonna hold on to it as long as I can. Because I don't want to spend money on a phone. Phones are expensive. Oh, delicious. I'm gonna look real quick. I'm cut in half. Move this here. See who's live. Who's doing things still. Let's see. Send you all over to another. I want to send you over to another cooking streamer. No, she looks like she's wrapping up. Oh man, Badger's playing. Please. Badger's playing Outer Worlds. Okay. I'm gonna go watch him play that, so I'm gonna send you all over to him playing that game. I found out today that Outer Worlds, I should have expected it. Outer Worlds has food in it, and it is done by Obsidian, and they made Fallout New Vegas and the older Fallout games, so I'm excited. I wasn't planning on buying it right now, but when I saw that there was food, I was like, oh, I could kind of justify that and say that it is research. Probably won't stream it. It'll probably be a game that I just play on my own and have my... That'll be me time. Yeah, no, so a few people did mention that it is on Game Pass, so I don't have the Game Pass currently, but that'd be the cheapest way to pick it up, right? That's probably how he's playing it right now. Let's do this by Badger. Alright. So I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to eat my dinner. I hope you all enjoyed it, learned something. If you like eggs, I highly recommend making this recipe. It is delicious. Here is the link to it one more time. I'd say there's a 20% chance that I might stream tomorrow, because I am taking tomorrow off and I was going to do some cooking tests. No promises. If it happens, it'll be very much so. I didn't move my computer and I didn't know what to do. But for sure next Monday I will be cooking some kind of Halloween themed dish. If you guys have any suggestions, please suggest them on my Discord. Does this work? Nope. Discord. Nope, I never made that command. Below, there's a link to the Discord, so if you have any spooky ideas that you'd like to share with me, share them there on the Discord, or tweet it at me or whatever. So yeah, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. Hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. And yeah, I'm going to send y'all to Badger. 'Cause I want to watch more Outer Worlds. And I figured, why not? Yeah, have a wonderful evening. I could do this right here. I have my buttons here.